Gwen, that was very interesting. Point is, though, that we need to talk a little more about some of these things. I'm fascinated by spirulina, and I'm interested in what you have been able to find out about us in Dominica. Do we have it out there in the sea? In what quantity?
I couldn't nearly tell you that because we haven't had the money in Dominica to invest in divers for me, research labs for me. I mean, I do this strictly volunteer. I've never been paid for any of this. So the resources to know how much, where at, I searched the waters from Scott's Head all the way up to Portsmouth and around Londonderry, down Castle Bruce, and there was spirulina everywhere. Everywhere, plenty of spirulina. There are 35 different species, so I don't know which one we have, how rich it is. I do use it in the formulas, but I don't take it internally. I suggest to people that they buy it from Charles's Pharmacy to take it internally. Okay. But it is absolutely wonderful. 70% protein, rich in all your B vitamins, including B12. Rich in your amino acid complex, extremely rich in vitamin A, which keeps the defense system, the immune system boosted. So I consider it one of the greatest sources of brain food, one of the greatest nerve repairers. You know, sugar has destroyed the nervous system. You find people who are running around afraid all the time, just scared, in fear. They have destroyed their nervous systems with sugars and syrups, but they can repair it with spirulina because of the richness in the B vitamins. That's what fear is. Fear is just that you have destroyed your nervous system. People shouldn't be as afraid of things as they are.
Okay. And sugar does that to you?
Sugar destroys the nervous system. It's the #1 drug in the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it actually, and salt, the #2. Salt raises your blood pressure, makes you toxic and just nervous and crazy. And all of these things can be combated, but you must know that they are problematic for you.
All right, we're talking with holistic health researcher and author Gwen Carter. And if she keeps calling me Mr. Linton as opposed to Lenox, I will start calling her Miss Carter as we keep going on. Back in just a moment.
And the problem also is
of nature's masterpieces playing here with us is some spirulina, got it in a tablet form, and I'm setting it up because I'm going to have a drink before we leave here. All right, this is spirulina, and I'm going to put some good old Dominican cane juice in it just for good measure. Should feel a lot better after that. Get it ready here. I'm, trying to be my own doctor here on the advice of Gwen Carter. The business, the potential. What are we looking at? Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about. You mentioned earlier something called melanin. Let's do some public education on this melanin thing. What do we need to know about it?
You need to know that melanin is, how can I say it, the liquid miracle substance inside of us, okay? Melanin, everyone in the world, every human being has melanin on the brain and at the base of the spine. You cannot live without melanin. However, there are a group of people that are considered melanin dominant. That's 3/4 of the world the global population are melanin dominant people. However, the African race have the largest amount of melanin. We have it on the brain, throughout all our major organs, and throughout all of our arteries. You may have heard of chakras and meridian points. Right. The Indians say chakras. Those are melanin clusters. The Asians say meridian lines. Those are melanated lines. Now, this melanin we find also organizes civilized behavior. It organized behavior. Melanin, we believe at this point, actually organized DNA, not the other way around. Melanin, it can keep us here, sustain us. If we detoxify our bodies, go out into sun, drink plenty of fresh water, bathe in fresh water, eat organic foods, our bodies would not break down. Now, if you ever notice, people talk about it a lot, that black people do not wrinkle as quickly as other races. That's melanin again. Most people think melanin just gives us skin color. No, melanin organizes our behavior. Melanin makes us more rhythmic. If you ever notice, as soon as a baby is born, black mothers look at the ear to see how dark the baby is going to be, because the ear shows us just how much melanin is really going to be in the child, and that's why we hear sound different. We're more rhythmic with music. It is melanin. Melanin has energy. It's a movement. It's that spiraling chakra that's always spiraling. It's that meridian lines that's always moving. Spirulina, again, is your sea melanin. Sulfur is your land melanin. Now, let me go back for a moment. In 1988, the Wall Street Journal had a front page article that they had a $300 million a year market for melanin products. Now there are melanin products on the market. NASA here even have I believe it's a hair shampoo, conditioner, and oil that are melanin based. You can, as soon as you walk in their beauty counter, melanin products are selling on the market big time because they're lifesavers. Now, people of color, dark people, that have plenty of melanin, you must be in total darkness from 10:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. in order for the melatonin in your pineal gland to rejuvenate. That's where you get your longevity from. That's where your intuitiveness is peaked. People who really stay up all night and work
watching
the graveyard
TV and all that stuff,
and working the third shift, what they call the graveyard shift, that sends melanin dominant people to the grave early. We must rejuvenate that particular chemical. And even if you're not sleeping,
and the magical time is 10:30 to what?
10:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. And even if you're not asleep, you need to be in total darkness. Now, sleep deprivation is a big thing that's talked about. I talk about it in the book right now, and a lot of people suffer from it. It's one of the #1 killers in the world. However, they say children should sleep 10 hours a night and adults 8 hours. But some of the holistic practitioners are telling us now, as long as you get that 10:30 to 2:30 and rejuvenate that melatonin, that you're really safe. You don't necessarily have to have the 8 hours, but you do have to rejuvenate that melatonin. But melanin is everything. All of the formulas, I have 17 formulas. 12 of them are health, 5 are beauty. They are all melanin compatible. I have soul-mated us so that during these times of germ warfare, these viruses and germs will not be able to take us out the way malaria, AIDS, cholera, all of these dengue fevers are taking us out. We must consider melanin when we consider healing, when we consider being well, we consider living here. And people are really not doing the melanin work for that 3/4 of the global population that are melanin dominant. The people that are putting money into melanin research, which is why this was on Wall Street Journal, front page now, is because these are the people that have money and can afford the research in it, and they don't have it in their bodies, and they have to get it. This particular article, and I'll make sure, Lenox, that you get a copy of this article, because they talk about how they try and grow it on broccoli, how they have some type of machine that they can suck it out of our blood. When we give blood at blood banks, they will decipher the melanin out of the blood. At one point, there was some real serious stories going on about our blood and the melanin, but melanin is everything for us. We must acknowledge it, we must embrace it, we must let it work for us. It really will return us to that genius state that built those pyramids that are still standing 5,000 years. Those people, our ancient ancestors, they spent time with nature. They bathed. All of this bathing I do, this is taking me back to ancient Egypt. This is all the goddesses did. When sisters were not busy working, they beautified themselves. So when their man came home, from head to toe, they were glowing, they were shining. That's where all the body art came from. That was a way of not being on the phone gossiping, not laying up watching silly stuff on TV, but giving yourself back to the universe. That's what mud bathing is. You're giving yourself back to the earth and saying thank you. And then when you adorn your body and make your skin silky, it's not about tattoos. It's about being beautiful.
You've developed these formulas. You have some 12 or so in the health category and 5 in the beauty group. These are at what stage? You have the formulas in the commercial production?
They are at the stage of all the ingredients have been safely combined. And I say safely because there are people here that are using them and love them. People love these formulas. This is way outgrown me. I really can't even keep up with it. It's a lot of pressure for me right now because when people tell me they're in pain, I immediately want them to have something to get out of pain. But again, it's much bigger than me. It has outgrown me. The formulas are ready to go into the laboratory. I am ready to sell the ingredients right to a company, an investor, a pharmaceutical company, a corporation, someone who is manufacturing products, someone who understands sulfur, someone who understands how fast this industry is growing, because it's way outgrown me. I could never do this. Even with the book, I'm going to have an auction where I auction off the licensing, which is part of the copyright for 25 years, to either a country or a publisher or an investor that can see to it that the 3/4 of the global population get this book.
All right.
And Dominica, they have been begging me, Linton, in the street for this book, and I'm telling you, everything, it's coming. It's Laricon Plinters who is doing me so bad, so I want you all to call down there next week and tell Leon to let my books go. He's holding up your healing, not mine. I know this.
Okay.